young Jamaican Jason Johnson. A lot of pace down the left side. He is going to be a thorn in the defense of the San Francisco Deltas.
Let's definitely keep an eye on Jason Johnson, who's going to be playing in the middle of the field. But first, we'll take a look at the San Francisco Deltas starting lineup, and somebody that I think is going to be very dangerous in the middle is Christian Portilla, as well as a number of others for the Deltas.
Yeah, for sure. They've made two changes from the side that are coming off a 0-0 draw at the New York Cosmos. Carl Ouimet is in for Jackson Gonsalves as the right back, and then Michael Stevens comes in for Greg Jordan at that right wing position at the top of the 4-3-3 formation for Marcos Santos.
And as we mentioned before, Heineman will be in that number 9 role. And for Phoenix, couple changes here and there. They've had some injuries, but more of the same from Rick Shantz, who is the interim head coach at the moment.
Yeah, 4 changes from the side that beat LA Galaxy 2-1. 3 in the back line with Wakasa, J.J. Greer, and Eder Arreola, and Omar Bravo up top for Chris Cortez. He's a veteran goal scorer. He will be huge in this game. He was rested in that USL game against LA too, so that he can play in this game.
And Rick Shantz said that Eric Avila and Sean Wright-Phillips have really started to develop a chemistry in the middle of the field. It's going to be the 3rd round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup when we come back. Phoenix.
Fan base as well. That's exactly what you need for an MLS team.
Well, not only are they serious about getting to the MLS, they're serious about advancing into the U.S. Open Cup 4th round. A trip to play the San Jose Earthquakes is on the line between these two squads who are a little bit on the other side of the spectrum. Phoenix is a team who's obviously been around for a few years with Arizona United. Before that, San Francisco Deltas, an expansion team, only a year old, but loaded with tons of talent.
Yeah, for sure. It is going to be very interesting to see what happens. They switched up their formation a little bit, San Francisco. In the game against the Cosmos, it was a 4-5-1. They've come out here very aggressive with a 4-3-3. So we'll see how Phoenix handles it.
We are underway from the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Tyler Terrence along with George D. Metellus. Phoenix will be in the all-red, San Francisco in the all-white. And that is how we are going to go for the 90 minutes or perhaps more, as this is an Open Cup match. If we cannot separate the two teams at the end of 90 minutes, we will play 2 halves of 15 minutes apiece, and then at the 120th minute, if we still cannot find a winner, we will head to every footballer's nightmare, penalty kicks.
Yes, penalty kicks. Nothing more dramatic, probably in all of sports, than a penalty kick shootout in a major cup.
There you get your first look at the netminder for the Deltas tonight. Stuart Seus, 30 years old, out of Haiti. Member of the Haitian national team, has made a number of big saves in his career in order to get Haiti into the Gold Cup in 2015, as well as participating in the World Cup qualifiers. A couple of very solid goalkeepers for Mark Dos Santos and his squad in the San Francisco Deltas, as Josh Cohen not able to get a clean handle on that one. Phoenix able to bring it down in the middle of the pitch.
And look out here for Matt Watson and Miguel Tim. They'll have to control the middle of the pitch for Phoenix FC. They've come out here in a 4-2-3-1. Bravo, obviously the point man up top. Sean Wright-Phillips on the right. He can come in to the middle as well, play more of a number 10 role, and then Jason Johnson with his speed. We mentioned him in the beginning of the broadcast as well.
And here is Johnson with a neat little touch to bring it down, trying to get on the right side of Ouimet. Wasn't sure if it was going to go out for a corner or a throw, and here's Bravo in the area. Bravo's still with it, laying it off for Watson. And it just goes wide, but the crowd here appreciating the effort early on.
Yeah, Omar Bravo is going to attract a lot of attention with his ability to finish, but he just couldn't get that turn. I think he wanted to turn and then use his left foot, but he just couldn't make it happen right there. But he lost control of the ball, and then that allowed the San Francisco defense to collapse on him, and then he had to lay it off for Watson. But still, a good effort there by Omar Bravo, and the fact that he's getting touches in the penalty area that quickly is a good sign for Phoenix.
Matt Watson, 32 years old, out of Redditch, England. Spent a year with the Carolina Railhawks, first year with Phoenix. Bounced around between the Richmond Kickers as well as Whitecaps FC and the Chicago Fire, and now finding a home here in the great state of Arizona as it goes all the way back to Cohen.
It's important for Miguel Tim and Matt Watson to win possession for Phoenix, and then obviously the understanding when one player pushes forward, the other one pushes back. Throughout the season, it's been Watson who's pushed forward and then Tim dropping back defensively.
Here come the Deltas on their first real move of the night. And the pass from Maxime Tissot out of the reach of everybody in his color jersey. And it'll go back to Josh Cohen, the 24-year-old goalkeeper for Phoenix Rising, originally from California. Played his college ball at UC San Diego. Started and played every match for Frank Yallop as well as Rick Chance. Of course, Rick Chance, the interim head coach at the moment until Patrice Caterone arrives, which should be at around Friday from what Rick told us. But Rick Chance doing a great job with Phoenix, who are coming off their first road win of the season, a very gutsy effort against LA Galaxy too.
Yeah, Patrice Caterone and Didier Drogba, they're going to be, they bring so much experience, so much knowledge. Those two are just going to make Phoenix so much better.
Flag stays down. Here's an opportunity, and Cohen is up to the task, and he's able to collect. Great opportunity, snuffed out, as it looked like it was Ouimet who got the opportunity, making the overlapping run, or perhaps it was Michael Stevens on the near side, but either way, a massive save from Josh Cohen.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a miscommunication there between the left back of Phoenix, Eder Areola, and J.J. Greer, the left center back, if you will, and it allowed Ouimet to go through. The flag stayed down, and they're going to have to clean that up, clean that communications up. You can't have attackers consistently one-on-one against the goalkeeper, and then, of course, Josh Cohen did very well to keep that shot out.
Well, it should be mentioned that Phoenix don't exactly have their day-to-day back four going at the moment, as Jordan Stewart getting the day off with a midweek game. Obviously, minutes are a concern for Rick Chance, just trying to stay competitive in the USL as well, although you do want to be able to advance, but you have to give guys minutes. As here's Jason Johnson working on Ouimet, sends it towards the back post, but it's cleared off the line by the Delta back line.
And Jason Johnson is looking very confident on the ball early in this match. It appears that he can break down and take whoever is in front of him one-on-one. That's something San Francisco has to be concerned about.
Bad giveaway in the middle of the field. Now here's Becker. Stevens to his right, but Becker's going to put a foot on it and hold it up for San Francisco, who are coming off of a dramatic 2-1 victory over the Burlingame Dragons in their second round match. Tommy Heineman, the game winner in that effort. Heiner had the equalizer right before the half for San Francisco, who are looking to match their best performance in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup with a win here tonight. Johnson off to the races. He's been giving Ouimet all he can handle and then some in the opening 6 minutes or so, and Ouimet takes the easy way out.
Yeah, Ouimet, we saw him have that chance against Cohen, but if Phoenix can control the possession, get the ball to Jason Johnson, Ouimet will have to be defensive the entire game.
Johnson going for the early delivery, and it forces Seus off of his line, looking for Omar Bravo, who applauds the effort from Johnson.
Well done by Jason Cohen there. You wonder if Ouimet, if he chips the keeper, maybe he scores there, but Cohen reading it beautifully and able to keep it out. And Jason Johnson on the other side, you can see the danger he poses for San Francisco's defense, the Delta's defense.
Here is Stevens. Missed out on that great opportunity to score in the opening minutes of this game. Back for Becker, who had an assist in the second round win over Burlingame. Here's a long range effort, and Cohen's going to be able to hang on to it. It's going to take quite the effort from that far out to be a goalkeeper of Cohen's caliber.
Long ball by Josh Cohen. Tried to sneak it past the defense of San Francisco. Reiner Ferreira as well to head it down, but you can see Omar Bravo already, just by his knowledge and his ability to move into space, is already creating problems behind the San Francisco defense. That's a positive sign for Phoenix going forward. Just teetering on that offsides line on a couple of occasions.
Long ball sent ahead, and Cohen's going to be able to collect it. Heinemann's asking for a back pass, but it seemed like it was more accidental than anything.
You can see that Cohen wants to play the ball quickly, but just unable to do so. But still very early in the match, as San Francisco holds on to a bit more possession and they start to bring bodies up. And if Phoenix can turn over quickly, regain possession, those outlets will be there for Cohen and obviously for the counterattacks as well.
And it should also be noted, going back to your point of being early in the match, these are two teams who aren't going to play each other throughout the course of the season, obviously being in two separate leagues. So they're really just trying to get a feel for what style of football these two teams like to play, having been the first time that they've ever played against each other in both of their clubs' history.
Yes, and even with all the video study that both of these clubs, I'm sure, have had in terms of preparing for this game, it's just not the same as when you actually get out there and you're running and you get to size up your opposition, size up who you are marking on the pitch. So it's an adjustment. It takes time, but what we've seen so far is San Francisco being able to get behind the defense a couple of times.
Becker did have Stevens to his right, but decides to be a bit more patient with it. We met the overlapper. Big sweeping ball over to Tissot. Tissot with a good bent ball in on the back post for Stevens, who's going to be able to bring it down. Stevens back for Heineman. The one-touch shot just fizzes past the near post. Good movement, though, from San Francisco.
Yeah, for a play that only two players were in the penalty area, for them to get a shot on frame was well done by San Francisco. The marking a little bit too loose for Phoenix, but whatever the case, doesn't lead to a goal, so that's well done. Phoenix of dodging a bullet there.
And this was the early opportunity in the opening moments of this match, as Michael Stevens was unable to take advantage. And for a striker that early on in the game to get that good of a look, it almost comes as a shock to be that wide open.
Yeah, there was a problem with the communications there between Areola and Greer, and the midfield not marking as tightly as they should. And that long ball, you have to give credit to, I believe it was Teysa that provided the service there on that play.
Here's the Dutchman, Teysa, trying to find Heineman. Stevens also in the neighborhood. And there's the clearance from Areola. But San Francisco have looked dangerous on the counter early on.
Yeah, especially a lot of space down that right middle channel, if you will, of the San Francisco Delta's attack, the left side of the Phoenix defense. So that means Miguel Tim will have to drop back, try to fill in that void there, try to disconnect the attack of San Francisco.
Good step from J.J. Greer as they were trying to slip it through for Heineman. Phoenix looking to operate in transition. Avila. Now Sean Wright Phillips for Pete Ramage, a.k.a. Rambo. Areola.
We're seeing good job by San Francisco just dropping numbers back and forcing Phoenix to play the ball backwards, and then smart ball over the top by Rambo as Omar Bravo clever to find and pick out some space down the left side.
Here's Jason Johnson, 1v1 with We Met again, getting to the byline. Great move here. Johnson taken down, but right outside of the area.
Ooh. That was close. I thought that might have been a penalty there. Jason Johnson easily around We Met. That was close right there. But that's a one-on-one matchup they can win throughout the game. San Francisco might have to shift their defense over to help out, because We Met is not going to be able to keep Johnson in front of him throughout this match.
Well, it was the first big decision that Robbie Holner has had to make in the opening 12 minutes, and it certainly was a big one. It'll be a makeshift corner for Phoenix. Right outside of the area. Big opportunity for the home side to get in front. Play back for Watson. Now here's Wright Phillips going for goal, but it's right into the breadbasket. Stuart Sayus, as he's going to hang on to that comfortably, but a well-worked set piece from Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure. Getting it to Miguel Tim and then Sean Wright Phillips. Very smooth stroke there of the ball, and Sayus in the right place at the right time. Well positioned there by the Delta's goalkeeper, but first dangerous look and first real shot on goal for Phoenix. So positive sign there. And when you can get that kind of shot on a set piece, that's something positive for the rest of the match.
Well, fans certainly remember the dramatic game winner that Sean Wright Phillips had against the Oklahoma City Energy a few weeks ago. His first goal for the club, and such a great moment for an Englishman who's had such a phenomenal football career to finally be able to get that pressure off his back of scoring that first goal, and hopefully it will be many more to come for the man who said such a great career.
And Sean Wright Phillips, not only can he score goals, but I think for Phoenix, his main role will be to create goals. And we've seen him throughout the season. He's out wide on the right, which he's been playing basically since he was coming up in the English Premier League. But there have been times where he's actually moved into the middle and played a number 10 role and has done very well.
Here's the ball out wide for Tissot. Nice weighted ball from Heineman as Tissot trying to keep it in play. Wakasa did well on the outside to be able to prevent any further danger.
And it's unfortunate for San Francisco because Becker, number 10, was making a run toward the far post. He sends in that cross. Becker was unmarked. So Phoenix got to count very quickly on those situations and mark up better.
Here's Tysa looking to line up the long throw-in. Pete Ramage gets there first and falls to Jason Johnson. Now looking to counter the other way, trying to find Omar Bravo, but it's cut out nicely by Adekora.
And this is the kind of game San Francisco wants. They want to play possession. Marc Dos Santos wants to play a possession-heavy game.
Gibson took a heavy touch as Matt Watson was able to break it up. Now here's Sean Wright-Phillips. Watson again. Showed a bit too much there to Tysa, and Becker able to collect.
Unfortunately for Watson, he didn't have an outlet to pass. No one was making a run in behind the defense. Avila was kind of stuck in his position, so he tried to make something happen.
Adekora with a bit of a miscue there. Phoenix really pressing up the field now as that's a bit of a naughty challenge there from Jason Johnson. Neat touch, though, from Ouimet, be able to elude number 14.
Yeah, Jason Johnson, a little over aggressive there, but they wanted to win that ball back. You're going to see some mixed defense, if you will, from Phoenix. When they have the chance to press up high, they're going to, but they're not going to do that the entire game. Other instances, they'll sit back, try to wait for San Francisco to drift high, and then try to catch them on the counter. So things are being mixed up here by Rick Shantz in this match.
Greer up strong for the header, gets another one in. As Avila and Bravo not necessarily on the same page there. Deltas have yet to lose on the road yet this season, obviously referring to their prior NASL schedule. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform on the road against the USL side in an Open Cup match. Win at all costs is certainly the motto for every team in it, as there's a nice little header from Becker. Gibson in on the mix. Greer up for the header, and it will be a corner for the Deltas. And every opportunity it seems like they get on the ball, it ends in some sort of finished product.
Yes, and Becker was unmarked at the top of the penalty area. That can't continue for Phoenix in order to win this match. They're going to have to find a way. Either Tim or Watson has to drop down and be a little more aggressive in the marking there, because Becker was wide open, unmarked at the top of the penalty area.
Certainly a man of great quality for Marc Dos Santos. Kyle Becker spent some time in the MLS as well as the Canadian national team. Played his college ball at Boston College in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Nice whipped in ball. Doesn't get past the first defender, but it's back out to Becker. Portilla with a good ball in, but Ramage gets there first, falling to Becker inside the area. Becker dispossessed. And a nice defensive effort from the Phoenix back line as they're able to avert any further danger.
Yeah, good job by Phoenix just to get numbers in the penalty area and make sure that everyone was marking someone. They're playing a man marking scheme in for those set pieces, and they were able to not lose their markers. A lot of times we see players lose their markers with movement off the ball, but it was good discipline there defensively by Phoenix.
Cohen had to get rid of it with a number of deltas inside of the area, looking to press and maybe get a cheap one. Avila's poor touch cleaned up by Wright-Phillips. It's Pete Ramage, as always, sporting the captain's band for Phoenix Rising FC. Such a dominant physical presence at the back for Rick Shantz. Here's Wakasa. Had a goal in their second round win over the Fresno Fuego.
wing backs are pushing up for Phoenix. Arreola and Wakasa trying to give them a little bit of support, a little more width. See Sean Wright Phillips pinching in, Jason Johnson pinching in as well.
Watson trying to find Johnson. Bit of a miscue there. It will fall to Johnson. Sending the cross towards the back post. And all sorts of trouble for Seus, who eventually just had to punch it out of bounds. And he is down and hurt. It will be a corner, or it looked like for a moment it was going to be a corner, although the far side referee looks like he has his flag up.
You can see that's where Omar Bravo, for first of all, we hope Seus is okay. Jason Johnson, once again, finding space, able to put danger, apply pressure onto the goal of San Francisco, and Omar Bravo, once again, was in the mix there. He didn't get a touch on the ball, but still, because of his movement, his ability to read the play, able to test the goal and really make things difficult for this San Francisco defense.
And it appears that Seus is in some amount of pain, and the substitute for him, if it were to get to that, would be Alex Mangles. So we'll keep an eye on whether or not Seus is able to continue.
Looked like when he landed, after trying to make that save, might have landed awkwardly on his shoulder, something like that. That's what it appears to be favoring. Obviously, we're not medical people, so we don't know, but just off of what happened, that appears to be the case, and hopefully he's okay, but he's been down for a while. It looks serious.
Well, it'd certainly be a big opportunity for Mangles if it were to come to that, as it's usually Seus as well as Peseir who are the main goalkeepers for this San Francisco Delta squad. And Mangles getting the opportunity in a midweek match to be in the roster. As Seus continues to get medical treatment from the physio. An opportunity for Rick Shantz to be able to talk to the troops on this brisk 102-degree evening in Phoenix, Arizona. Fans, follow U.S. Soccer's coverage of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup on Twitter @OpenCup. USSoccer.com is your source for full coverage of the 2017 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and you can follow coverage of the tournament on Twitter @OpenCup. 104th installment of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Third longest running professional soccer tournament in the world. George D. Metellus, do you have any idea what the first may be?
First is the FA Cup.
Absolutely.
The second one is, I have no idea what number 2 is. I know number 1 is FA Cup.
Well, you get bonus points if you can tell me when the FA Cup was established.
Well, this is 104? For FA Cup. Oof, 1882.
1871.
All right.
As Seus finally gets to his feet.
1871. Ooh.
And it appears he's going to try to move on.
Now I need to find out what the second, what's in between this one and the FA Cup. What's the second oldest cup competition? I'm guessing somewhere in South America, maybe. That's my homework for the rest of the week. Halftime, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
We'll find out for you.
And it appears that big number 12, Seus, is okay and will be able to continue. So good news for Mark Dos Santos. That's probably the last substitution you want to make in the 20th minute, is to be able to sub off your goalkeeper and then not be able to use that third substitution later in the game, as it could very well come down to the fact of subs who may have an impact. And especially should it get to extra time.
Exactly. And with the extra time looming, you want fresh legs that could make the difference. So that's very important. So it's good to see that he's okay.
J.J. Greer taken down in the middle of the field, and he'll elect to play quickly and spray it out wide for Johnson, who Phoenix continues to call his number, feeling that they have quite the mismatch over there with Mui Met as he continues to try to stay in front of the Virginia Commonwealth University product. Cody Wakasa.
You can see Sean Wright Phillips directing traffic, pointing to where to go.
And the long ball ahead comes to nothing as Sayus comes off his line.
A little more patience there by Phoenix. They had the possession. We don't see San Francisco pressing them too aggressively. So they had plenty of time to make a decision, start to make runs, start to probe that Delta's defense.
Bad giveaway there from Portilla. Goes out wide for Johnson. Again, Johnson and we met. Johnson working on 2 Delta defenders, and the 2 white jerseys end up getting the better of number 14.
Oh, it's a shame because when Miguel Tim wins this ball, Matt Watson is making the right run right into the middle of the penalty area. He was asking for it. If Tim can just turn his hips, get that left boot to it, make that diagonal pass, Watson is going to be one-on-one against the goalkeeper.
Becker trying to slip it through for Heineman, but the referee on the near side has his flag up. Nicely held line by Phoenix.
Yeah, they learned after the chance that Stevens had early in this match. They learned it's all about that communication, keeping that line straight, keeping it in unison, keeping it organized, and they were able to do so there. So maybe they figured something out, or it appears that they figured out what San Francisco wants to do early in this match. So now it'll be the chess game. Marc Dos Santos, how does he solve that offside back line, or the organization of the back line, so that he can get good chances on goal?
Well, it's usually going to take clever running, and
yeah,
Heineman is somebody who's certainly capable of that, as the ball is sent through and taken down in the box. Was a Phoenix attacker. Referee Robbie Holner saw that there wasn't much in it. But then Phoenix committed the foul, as it was Sean Wright Phillips who was the culprit on that instance.
Great ball over the top of Eric Avila to connect with Omar Bravo.
And you can almost hear Rick Shant saying on the crowd mic that the timing of the runs is great.
Yep. It was a great ball over the top. The only thing would make, if it was a little bit further ahead of Bravo, so he had to reach back and make that touch. If it was slightly over the top forward, Bravo could settle it a little bit better and really have a go at Sayus in between the sticks for San Francisco. But still, the idea and the execution for the most part was very good. We've seen a couple of times Bravo get in behind that defense, time his runs, and get in behind that defense. So it's just a matter of service for Omar Bravo.
And you rarely see this, the referee telling the player to move up rather than to move back, as we met wasn't exactly sure where the throw-in is supposed to be taken. And now the assistant referee encouraging him to move down the field. Bit of miscommunication from Ramage and Cohen leading up to this deep throw-in. Here's We Met looking to get an early service in. Rambo gets there first, but the clearance not his best. And it'll be a corner for the team out of the Bay Area.
You can see Rambo and Greer communicating very well, because in between them Heineman. So Rambo was making sure Greer was on Heineman, so that if the service did get through, Heineman would not be able to touch the ball. But so the communication is improving for Phoenix, especially in that back line.
Something that Rick Shantz emphasized was San Francisco's ability on set pieces. So I'm sure that defending them was at the top of the list during training. It's a good ball in. The header was trying to be sent back across, and then it's thumped the other way, but nicely played by Gibson. Brought down by Watson, but it's Stevens who ends up breaking that up. Portilla trying to get on the right side of Arellano. Arellano in a foot race with Atacora. And it's Arellano who's called for the foul. Good defensive play from Nana Atacora, 28-year-old out of Ontario.
It's just great defense here by Atacora. Actually draws the foul. There's nothing Ariola could do about that. Uses pace, uses his bigger frame as well, gets in between the ball and the player, and able to regain possession back for San Francisco. And that was important because Ariola had bursted down the left side. If he was able to beat Atacora, he could be one-on-one against the goalkeeper. Lots of space out wide for Taysa.
Taysa trying to get it in. Delivery not up to par for the Dutchman. Wright Phillips with a neat little ball, though it's a bit slow, but leaving it, and very nicely was Avila. Although the pace of the ball from Wright Phillips never quite had the zip on it. And it's a nasty challenge. The referee already motioning for the physios to come on between Wakasa and Heiner. And you hope that these two are okay. Definitely mainstays for both managers. As we've had a couple of serious injuries early on here.
Ooh. Two of them very brave going for the ball there. You had the Brazilian Heiner Ferreira, as they say in Brazil. And Wakasa going for the ball as well. That all started with that jump move by Avila to let the ball go through. Tried to get a little fancy there with the dummy, and it almost worked. And it appears that both of them are okay, so that's a good sign going forward. But we're seeing both teams become very aggressive. We've seen San Francisco, they've had the majority of the possession, but for the most part, unless they play it out wide, down the left side of their attack, they've had a lot of space and chances to send in crosses. But other than that, Phoenix has done a good job of keeping them at bay. They had that one opportunity early with Stevens, and then after that, nothing really dangerous that Cohen has had to sweat too much about. And on the other side for Phoenix, Omar Bravo is getting close. You can just feel that he's reading that back line. He knows when to time his runs, and all he needs is just the right service, and you figure he's going to score.
Well, the Brazilian Heiner, not exactly to his feet, but sitting up, which is a good sign. 31-year-old out of Sao Paulo. Spent a lot of time playing professional football over in Brazil. As he continues to try to shake off this nasty collision between himself and Cody Wakasa just a few moments ago. Half an hour in, third round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Tyler Terrence with George D. Metellus. Winner gets to take on the San Jose Earthquakes and Chris Wondolowski. Week of June 14th. Game will be in San Jose.
Hey, it's hot. What can you do? Yeah. Bunch of Chelsea fans, Real Madrid fans, England national team. See a Spain jersey there. Game is worldwide.
They just love the game.
Yes,
they just love the game.
For sure.
Well, you have to imagine that a number of those Chelsea jerseys are going to be number 11, none other than Didier Drogba.
Yes.
Who, as we heard before early in the game, thanks to Jose Bosch, will be making his debut on June 10th against Whitecaps FC2.
Yeah.
Good luck getting a ticket for that.
That is going to be the best ticket in town. That is for sure. That is
best ticket in town. How about the best ticket
in
possibly on the West Coast?
Yeah, for sure. Talking about Didier Drogba, who's icon at Chelsea. Champions League winner, FA Cup winner, Premier League winner.
Here's Johnson. The double team comes. Johnson trying to get to the byline. Slipped through for Avila. He took a heavy touch, and Adekora had to be there, and he was. As Phoenix continue to knock on the door and ask all sorts of questions of the San Francisco back line, but it has not come to anything quite just yet.
Oh, that is a missed opportunity for Eric Avila, because all he needs to do is one-time it. He doesn't need to take another touch. He's unmarked in a perfect position. If he one-times it, that's a goal. But he took the touch betrayed him, and San Francisco, they dodge a massive bullet there. That could easily be 1-0 in favor of Phoenix.
apologize for those technical difficulties. As there's a nice interception from Miguel Tim. Trying to go out wide, but Tysa was there to break it up. Becker. Stevens laying it off. Now here's who we met, who has the tough task of dealing with Jason Johnson, as I'm sure he won't be exactly fleet of foot going forward with the ball, having to use most of his energy. Defending number 14, puts in a hard tackle there and gets called for the foul. And a nice area for Phoenix to be able to whip in a set piece, as Johnson took a nasty hit there.
Boom, that burst. About to go. Jason, I think he tried to go through the legs there, tried a little nutmeg. It was about to work before he was brought down. But Jason Johnson, throughout the match, has been unstoppable down that left side. A couple of excellent crosses that unfortunately Bravo hasn't been able to get onto, but it's just a matter of time. And San Francisco having to resort to fouling Johnson in order to slow him down. That's how effective he has been in the left side.
Omar Bravo on the set piece. It's a good Clifton ball. Rambo is there, but the header just over the bar. Pete Ramage, I'm sure, would like to have that opportunity back, as it was a beautiful set piece in from the former Mexican international Omar Bravo.
It's a great ball in by Rambo. He knows he should have done better there. But once it, but it looked like it was an offsides call there.
And indeed it was, George D. Metellus. Fantastic eyesight that you have there. It was obviously a little bit difficult to see the far side referee who had the flag up. So regardless of whether the ball went in the back of the net, it would have been blown off.
But the encouraging sign is it's there, that they can win headers in the air on set pieces. They have that advantage with Bravo providing those services. So even though that was offsides, it's an encouraging sign for Phoenix that those opportunities are there. Everything they practice on the training ground can come to life and can create goal-scoring opportunities.
So a little more than a half an hour in. Are you seeing what you expected? A little surprised by anything?
I'm a little surprised by how much possession San Francisco has had, considering that they are the road team. But I'm not surprised at the chances that Phoenix are having. Jason Johnson down the left side, we saw within maybe a minute of this match starting that Jason Johnson was going to be a problem for the Delta's defense. And he has been able to create opportunities, get around players. So what has surprised me is the Deltas and how much possessions they've had, but Phoenix has settled down, and Omar Bravo is getting touches. He's finding a way to get into space and make himself available. You figure the goal is going to come for Phoenix Rising. If it's not in these next 10 minutes, then definitely in the second half.
Well, it should also be noted that the Deltas are coming off of a game over on the other side of the country against the New York Cosmos this past Saturday. So they've obviously had to do a boatload of traveling in the past 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, and you have to give them credit to be on the road, cross-country trip coming from New York, and to put in a performance like they have so far. I mean, by my count, they have more shots than Phoenix. So you have to give them credit. Mark Dos Santos has prepared them very well.
And again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. We're trying to get it sorted out. We know that this is extremely frustrating as we're back again. And we will try to work this out as we progress through the 90 minutes. Wright Phillips on top of the free kick. Headed out initially. And it looks like it'll be a foul going the other way against Phoenix. We're not exactly thrilled with the call from Robbie Holner.
And Miguel Tim is having a rough game so far. There have been a couple of times where he hasn't dropped back deep enough defensively, and there's been a little bit of space in the penalty area. He's missed a couple of passes to Watson that if he makes the right timing and the right angle, Watson is in on the goal. So tough match for Miguel Tim, but he does have a lot of time to turn it around, and hasn't hurt Phoenix because it's still a 0-0 game.
Wakasa clever in letting that go out, as we are approaching the halftime whistle here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. A trip to play the San Jose Earthquakes 2 weeks from now on the line in the third round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, 104th edition. And the battle continues between the USL and the NASL. There were certainly a lot of matches across the country between those two leagues. And it's been the NASL who's been getting the better of the USL, as Charlotte Independence fell 4-1 to North Carolina FC, Miami FC taking down the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And as far as the league battle is concerned, Phoenix Rising trying to pick up their fellow USL comrades with a win here tonight against the San Francisco Deltas. As here's another opportunity from the set piece for Phoenix, and you see Rambo quickly sprinting to the occasion. Early ball in, and Sayus off of his line to cut it out. At every Phoenix Rising home match during the 2017 season, 2 lucky fans will be upgraded to sit in the best seats in the house, courtesy of Pruitt's Fine Furniture. These lucky winners will not only enjoy tonight's action in the most comfortable seats directly on the pitch, but those luxury reclining chairs will also be delivered to their home next week as a gift from Phoenix Rising FC and Pruitt's Fine Furniture.
Those chairs do look comfortable. They do. That's
we
a great way to watch.
Are we allowed to enter that?
Man, if I could. I don't think we can, but man, those seats look comfortable.
San Francisco happy to let the center back Pete Ramage inch his way up the field, now being sent towards the corner as the offside flag is up on the far side.
Yeah, you saw what happened there. They overloaded that left side with Areola and then also Omar Bravo and Jason Johnson floating over there. So that's why you saw Peter Ramage try to go to the left side, or actually float over to the left side, try to play along to those three, because they've seen that throughout this match they've had an opportunity. The left side has been their strongest side. The right side of the San Francisco defense has been the weakest part of their defense. So they tried to overload that side and create something there. Just the timing was off, and unfortunately it was an offsides.
Tice's touch, not exactly clean. Trying to let it off for Watson, who's met in the middle of the field. Becker trying to slip it through for Stevens, who's actually come all the way over on the left side this time, with Becker moving over to the right. Again, something that Rick Shantz pointed out on our phone call with him earlier in the week, that this team is very dynamic up front with Heineman as well as Becker, as the ball goes out wide for Stevens, who's now found his way to the right side of the pitch. Ball into the middle, cut out by Greer, and very nicely. And the fans here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex recognizing good defending when they see it.
Yeah, what happened, Greer did a very good job of making sure he stayed in front of Heineman. Heineman tried to cut inside, get into that ball, but Greer had the initial position on Heineman from the beginning, from the minute Heineman made that run and from the minute that Stevens made that run out wide.
Bad giveaway here. Heineman trying to get on the end of it, but J.J. Greer coming to the rescue to help out Matt Watson. And Heineman goes down, forcing referee Robbie Holner to stop play, as there was nothing ensuing for Phoenix, and just blowing the play dead. And taking a look at Heineman, who looks like to be having some sort of head injury.
Yeah.
So fair play to the referee there for stopping it for a head injury to number 9.
It looked like when Greer and Heineman were going for the ball, Greer might have hit him in the head accidentally. Some just physical play between two players going after the ball. Purely incidental contact, nothing intentional or ill will by J.J. Greer. But at the same time, you want your center backs to be physical. You want them to not dirty, nothing dirty on that play, but at the same time you send a message that, hey, it's not going to be easy for you to roam and move freely. You're going to deal it with the wall. You're going to deal with some physicality. And that plays in the striker's mind throughout the match, especially when Heineman has had very few touches in this game.
And the crowd here at Phoenix not exactly happy that Heineman has walked off the field. Seemingly okay, but the referee was in the right to blow the play dead after seeing what he believed to be a head injury. Good job from Robbie Holner, who's called a very nice game thus far. And we are back underway again. Third round action. Omar Hunt US Open Cup winner takes on the San Jose Earthquakes the week of June 14th.
And look for Sean Wright Phillips now. You see how far back he's dropping. He wants to have more touches. He wants to be the man that is going to create opportunities.
First sighting of Sean Wright Phillips on the left side of the field, as this one is thumped ahead for Tim. as Seus comes off of his line, and it's eventually cleared out by Adekora. Lots of miscommunication at the back for San Francisco.
Yeah, Omar Bravo dropping deep in the midfield, so that gave the space for Miguel Tim to run in and then make that long run.
Areola with a decent ball as Avila gets on the end of it, trying to work on Taisa, who's a very strong defender, as he's able to win that 1v1 battle, and Heineman doing nicely to hold it up.
Look how far Greer went to make sure he was right in the hip pocket of Heineman. It's the second time we've seen Greer give a little physicality when Heineman was coming close to the ball, so he might have just drawn man-marking responsibilities.
Heineman with a driven ball over to Stevens that is weighted perfectly, who's onside. Stevens sizing up Areola, takes a deflection. Ramage is there, falls to Portilla.
How about Jason Johnson tracking back to play some defense, dispossess San Francisco, get the attack going the other way.
Here's Avila. Looking for a big switch, but Ouimet is there. Just needed a little bit more zip on it as Jason Johnson had plenty of space. Heineman with a neat touch, taken down by Greer. And that might force Robbie Holder to go to his pocket for the first time this evening, and he will. So J.J. Greer showing the mustard in the 45th. And he is the first member of either team to go in Robbie Holder's book this evening.
Yeah, after 3 physical encounters, we'll put it that way, the third time not the charm for J.J. Greer. Heineman,
savvy touch, though, from Heineman.
Yes, very savvy. Played the ball into space, quick footwork to get around Greer. Greer felt like he had no choice but to foul Heineman, and now he has to be careful because obviously one more, and he's gone.
We are going to have 1 minute of added time here, the first 45 minutes. Check that. We are going to have 5 minutes of added time. A little bit of miscommunication with the fourth official as Stevens moving forward. Nice little turn here from Tissot. Portilla lining up a long-range effort, but never troubling anybody, including Josh Cohen. And it'll be a goal kick for the man out of UC San Diego.
Yeah, 5 minutes because of the Stuart Seus, well, not injury, but the time he was down getting some medical treatment, so that's where we have the stoppage time there.
Well, it's always going to be physical in the U.S. Open Cup.
Yes.
Win or go home. It's not like you're going to play somebody in the middle of the week or on the weekend and say, okay, we'll get you guys in a couple of weeks when we go to your place or come to our place. This is it, especially for 2 teams not in the same league. So we always knew it was going to be a physical match.
And remember, U.S. Open Cup, unlike some cups throughout the world, there are no 2 legs. Every stage is 1 leg. So, as you mentioned, win, go home. Want to win this tournament, a chance to go to the CONCACAF Champions League as well, so it's going to be huge.
Here's Taisa. Portilla. Now Gibson. Henair. Nice movement here from San Francisco, but Phoenix able to keep them at bay. Portilla trying to slip it through as the flag stays down. Finding Becker at the top of the box, but his touch let him down, and Sean Wright Phillips with a neat touch of his own. Nice outside of the football, curling it into an area for Bravo, who cannot get there first. Henair is there, still battling for it. And the Brazilian just poking it out of bounds. Good fight from the Brazilian and the Mexican on that play.
Well, we saw on that play out wide, San Francisco, so Phoenix kind of clogged the middle. They didn't want anything to happen over the middle, or through the middle, I should say. So they were smart to play it out wide. And we've seen, it's funny, Phoenix has looked most dangerous down the left side of their attack. San Francisco have looked the most dangerous down the left side of their attack. So the right side of the defenses for both of these teams have been exploited a little bit with Ouimet for San Francisco and Cody Wakasa for Phoenix.
Avila battling with Tyson, and it's Watson who ends up cleaning it up. Watson striding forward with great confidence, finding Wright Phillips. Wright Phillips slipping it through for Johnson's got Bravo with him, but a great challenge right at the last. Johnson just needed one more touch to slide it across for Bravo or have a shot.
Yep.
It'll be a corner for Phoenix.
It's a great through ball by Sean Wright Phillips, and it's the first touch of Johnson that lets him down. And as you mentioned, Tyler, if he just one-times it over to Bravo, it's an easy finish right there. But that's why first touch is so important, because it determines whether you lose the ball in a corner or you score a goal. But Sean Wright Phillips has moved into the middle now, playing that number 10, and he's a great distributor.
Now he clips a corner kick towards the back post, cleared out initially. You have to give credit to Ouimet, who, while he has been getting burned on a couple of occasions by Johnson, he's done well to recover. Neat little touch from Stevens for Ouimet, who strides forward but sees that he doesn't have any numbers, and now being fouled from behind by Miguel Tim. Professional foul from Tim there.
Yeah, professional foul, but I think it was unnecessary because Ouimet was running into 3 Phoenix defenders. I understand why he did it. I understand that he was tracking back playing defense, but he had 4 teammates. He had 3 other teammates surrounding him. For him to clip Ouimet like that from behind was unnecessary. And now you got 2 key defensive players with yellow cards.
Portilla with a nice whipped in ball. He's more than capable of quality delivery off set pieces. Phoenix looking to operate in transition. Sweeping ball over for Wright Phillips. Wright Phillips slipping it through for Bravo, who's offside. The flag is up on the far side. It will be no goal.
Sean Wright Phillips is looking like, my goodness, the passes he's putting together, the vision, the touch has been absolutely fabulous. And you see this ball, the way it's chested down, he chests it forward when he had a defender right on his back, Stevens. And unfortunately for Phoenix, Bravo was offsides, but since Sean Wright Phillips has moved to the middle of the pitch as a number 10, they have just looked more dangerous in attack.
45 minutes in the book here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. 0-0 between the home side Phoenix and the visitors San Francisco. Aren't going to shell out their exact ideal starting lineup just because you want to be able to keep guys fresh, and you just played 90 minutes over the weekend, and you have another 90 minutes coming up this coming weekend.
Yep, for sure. This is where managers are, they're paid to the tactics, obviously, but this is where the depth of the squad comes through. This is how well they prepare the teams. The conditioning is very important. This is where the managers really earn their money, by how well they manage the squad and how well they manage the minutes, the tactics. It all comes to play, not so much in the USL play and the league play, but in these situations in cup play, because you want your teams, obviously, any competition you're in, you're going to want to win, but you want to do it in a way where everybody plays, show the depth, everybody has an understanding of what you want to do tactically. So the managers, if they can get the tactics right, keep the fitness levels of the players well or at a high level, this is where they really earn the money, the managers.
Well, we are underway for the second half here at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. And if we can't sort out a winner in these next 45 minutes, we'll head to extra time. And if we can't do it then, we will head to penalty kicks. We'll have to wait and find out, though, as Phoenix starting out with a little bit of possession here. Certainly had some good opportunities in the first half. One of them being that Jason Johnson miscue when he probably could have, maybe should have, shoulda, woulda, coulda situation. Yeah. Slid it over across to Omar Bravo. Put a good tackle from Ouimet right at the last. Michael Stevens had a great opportunity in the opening few minutes, denied by Josh Cohen. But neither team able to break the seal just yet.
And there's been a little bit of a tactical move in terms of the formation of the lineup. Sean Wright Phillips, he started out wide on the right with Avila in the middle. Now they've switched. So Avila is out on the right. Sean Wright Phillips is in behind Omar Bravo in that number 10 role. And we've seen there's a lot of space in the midfield for Sean Wright Phillips to pick passes, to run at defenders, but mostly to pick out passes. And we saw a couple of times he was able to slide it through to Johnson and to Avila. Unfortunately for Phoenix, both of them, well, one of them, Johnson didn't slide it back over to Bravo, and then the other one, Bravo was offside. So the move there in the middle of Sean Wright-Phillips behind Omar Bravo is going to be crucial. And if San Francisco doesn't get on him and mark him tightly, he's going to be able to pick that defense apart with his passing.
Well, it could be viewed as a little bit more of a defensive tactic as well, just because Wright-Phillips isn't going to be able to fly up and down the flanks like he used to back in his Manchester City and Chelsea days. And Avila a little bit more fleet of foot than Wright-Phillips at this point in his career. So going back to Rick Shantz's interview at halftime, a bit more defensive in the middle of the field will probably lead to a couple more chances and thwarting San Francisco opportunities, because when they have been on the ball, they have looked very dangerous. And like you said earlier, they need to be careful of giving up that early goal, because then they might begin to press at home as the offside flag is up on the near side.
Well, it's been a tough night for Phoenix. It seems like that back line of San Francisco has done an excellent job of keeping its shape, staying in unison, keeping that line together. You have to give credit to Atakora, Fajeda, and Tesa, keeping that line, keeping that shape, because by my count, it's the fourth time Phoenix has been caught off sides. They are playing with fire, San Francisco, because eventually Omar Bravo, he's going to figure it out, or Johnson is going to figure it out, and could lead to a break.
Here's Watson taking a big touch around Atakora. He's called for the foul, and Robbie Holner goes straight to the pocket as Watson went straight to the deck. And it will be a yellow card for the center back, Nana Atakora. So both center backs on either side, meaning Atakora for San Francisco and J.J. Greer for Phoenix, have a yellow card and now need to be a bit weary heading into their future challenges.
And this is something Watson did a little bit of in the first half. We saw him break through. There were a couple of chances where he was making runs off of the ball. He didn't get the ball back. He has the ability to do that. In that LA Galaxy game, LA Galaxy 2 game, he was able to push forward a couple times, show some skill with the ball at his feet.
Wakasa, plenty of space on the near side, and that's where the set piece goes. Lifted ball is decent, gets flicked onto the back post. And it looks like it's going to be a throw-in for Phoenix. Slipped in ball for Johnson. It'll hold up. Johnson still with it. Working on Hernán Ferreira. Phoenix will come around the horn here just a few minutes into the second half of this third round Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup match, as that one skips out of play and it'll go back to San Francisco.
Smart move by San Francisco to put two players in front of Jason Johnson, because one player has not been enough to contain Johnson on that left side of the Phoenix attack, the right side of San Francisco's defense. So smart to have two players in front of him. And what we saw there when Phoenix was pushing forward, their deltas had numbers in the back, and that's one thing you have to do. If you're struggling in the midfield, hold on to possession, you're going to have to defend, get those numbers back behind the ball.
Tissot with a neat little touch to get around Wakasa, but actually ends up getting called for the foul as him and Wakasa were jousting for the ball here on the near side.
And Tissot and Tesa, he had a lot of room to operate. They were able to get behind Wakasa in that first half. So that means Greer is going to have to come over and help out a little more here in the second half.
Tysa taken down from behind, and a couple Phoenix fans not pleased with the call from Robbie Holner, who's done a good job so far. He's had a couple of big calls to make and has seemingly got them right. Here's Gibson. And there. This definitely looks much better defensively in the middle of the field from Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just a few seconds ago, maybe about 30 seconds ago. Becker
moving forward. Good ball in. Becker is the one who actually ends up getting ahead to it. Probably one of the smallest players on the pitch at the moment, but no power behind the header. As Josh Cohen saying that there may be something wrong with the football, as it looks like a piece of the covering of the ball might have been taken off there.
I was going to say something. You mentioned the defensive organization of Phoenix. There was a play about a minute earlier where Arriola had pressed up high, trying to win the ball back, and Matt Watson did an excellent job of filling in that gap at the left back position while Arriola was pushing high. And eventually, as the ball made the way to the other side, Watson went back to his position and then Arriola dropped back. So there's a good understanding between Watson and Arriola in terms of filling in the hole when a left back pushes up, tries to press defensively. Watson sees that, gets back into the hole. If he doesn't go back into that hole, there's a huge gap there that San Francisco can run into. But because Watson filled that space, the attack didn't go forward for San Francisco. So Watson is doing an excellent job of kind of reading his teammates and knowing, okay, this teammate is left a void in the back, I have to fill that, and then when he comes back, he can go back to the midfield.
Tim trying to send it to the other side of the pitch for Johnson. Bravo who ends up doing that part. Here's a big touch into space from Arriola. Trying to keep it in play, does so. Still with some work to do, but unable to do it. And it'll be a goal kick coming for Seus.
And well done, San Francisco. They had 5 players in the area, so 5 players in the area, defenders, compared to 3 Phoenix attackers. So it would have been very difficult to get a cross in and connect with a teammate for Arriola, but that's something we didn't see too much in the first half from Phoenix. Neither one of those wing backs was involved or had much influence in the attack in this game. Haven't had to worry too much, well, other than Tayson Tissot. On the other side, Arriola hasn't had to worry too much about Ouimet or Gibson pushing forward, so maybe they could play a little bit, take a risk with one of those fullbacks pushing up in the attack.
Greer will go all the way back to Cohen as this game has sort of hit a little bit of a lull here in the opening moments of the second half. Usually players are a bit more fresh coming out of the dressing room, but 102 degrees in the desert maybe playing a factor, especially on San Francisco's side, who are used to about 50 to 60 degree days in the Bay Area. Tim trying to find Johnson as Johnson gets held up, asking for a foul from Robbie Holner.
Well, Johnson can only get upset at Bravo. It was Bravo that crashed into his own teammate, crashed into him. Bravo was making the run and Johnson was in that space, and Bravo crashed into Johnson. And that kind of killed the attack there for Phoenix. And there were other options to pass, but want to connect with Omar Bravo, and when Bravo runs into his own teammate.
Ouimet finding Heineman. Back for Becker. Delta's very methodical with this particular possession. Taissa. Tissot coming back for it. Met by Tim in the middle of the pitch. Still hangs on to it. Taissa again. Now San Francisco's outside backs beginning to get a little bit more involved. But Phoenix much more disciplined in the middle of the field, much to the delight of interim head coach Rick Shantz, who emphasized that during his halftime interview with Jose Bosch. Heineman. Out wide for Ouimet. Working on Arriola. Ouimet again. Delta's completing a dizzying amount of passes.
Yeah, but a lot of them are sideways.
Heineman. Cut out by Watson, but not a great clearance from the back. And J.J. Greer will send it out of bounds as Phoenix clogging up the middle, but San Francisco very disciplined in not forcing the pass. Although it hasn't come to anything just yet as the chess match continues between these two great coaches. Rick Shantz, who is filling in until Patrice Caterone arrives, as Heineman is offside.
And we saw in that sequence of for San Francisco, Miguel, Tim, and Watson basically just going with the flow. And while there were players in the middle that were getting touches, they weren't able to turn and make anything dangerous toward goal. So it was well done by Phoenix, keeping that discipline, keeping players in front of them. That's the most important thing when you are in a situation where you don't have the possession. You don't want players to get in behind you.
Here's Becker off the turnover. Ouimet getting involved again. Canadian national team member trying to spray it out wide, finding Taisu, who takes a very neat touch, but it's cut out, and very nicely by Eric Avila. Although his pass intercepted by Partido, but Omar Bravo coming all the way back to play his defensive responsibilities. So the 37-year-old still has a good engine on him. Watson moving forward, trying to get around Tyson, who cuts it out with his chest as he hit the deck. And now Watson called for the foul, so a good job from Tyson using every part of his body to cut out the pass for Matt Watson.
Oh, Omar Bravo, he made a run down this right side. It wouldn't have to be a long ball, just chip it over the top with the right timing. I think Omar Bravo would have been able to sneak in behind the defense. Watson took an extra touch, and eventually he's turned the ball over for San Francisco, but it was a clever run by Omar Bravo down the right side. Watson just didn't see it.
So Phoenix, the home team, very happy to surrender copious amounts of possession to San Francisco. And you can see Phoenix is just trying to counter on the other end, with San Francisco basically pushing up about 8 players at a time.
Well, with Avila and Johnson, 2 fast players, they can play the counter like that, and especially if they can get to Sean Wright-Phillips quickly, he can turn and pick out the pass.
There's a nice ball out wide to relieve the pressure, and it's Arriola sprinting forward. Arriola looking for the early ball, but well behind Omar Bravo, who looks up towards the heavens.
And San Francisco has done a good job. Every time Phoenix look to break, they are able to get numbers back and win the possession. What we're seeing here from Phoenix, the attack has stalled a little bit, and I think mainly it's because they haven't been able to get Sean Wright-Phillips the ball as much.
Here's Hainer striding forward, getting it out wide for Tissot. Blocked by Wakasa. And it will be a throw-in for San Francisco. Plenty of space out wide for Tissot. Well closed down by Cody Wakasa. Now Tissot hitting the floor, as it looks like Mark Dos Santos ready to make his first change of the evening. And it looks like it's going to be number 25, Danny Cruz, coming into the match in around the 60th minute.
Wing player from Glendale, Arizona, former Minnesota United.
And it looks like he is going to come on for Maxime Tissot. So the 25-year-old's day is done, and he will be replaced by Danny Cruz. Nice shift from Tissot. And the first piece has been moved by Dos Santos, so now it's up to Rick Shantz to try and counter or perhaps keep things the same.
Yep, like for like player, a wing player down the left side, so nothing changes in terms of the formation. Nothing changes in terms of how people are going to line up on the pitch here. I want to see how Cruz and Tesa work together down the left side.
Here's Tice on the return. Finding the substitute Cruz, who immediately is trying to get involved. But it's cut out by Wakasa. It's Gibson. Christian Portilla. Tysa trying to go along the sideline as San Francisco were looking for the handball off of Eric Avila, but will not get it. Played a little more than an hour at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, and after a rip-roaring start, not necessarily in terms of goals, but just pace of play, it's slowed down to a crawl as San Francisco have had the ball almost the entire opening 15 minutes of the second half, and Phoenix more than happy to surrender meaningless possession.
As for Phoenix, the defense, it's just keep the players in front of them, and then if they can, win the ball in the midfield and break quickly with Johnson and Avila and Sean Wright Phillips pulling the strings in that number 10. And we've seen Omar Bravo track back as well, help win the ball back. The counterattack in the space is there. Problem is they're not winning the ball that much, and San Francisco is getting a lot of possession. Sometimes when you want to counterattack, you have to be a little aggressive in winning the ball in the midfield.
Portilla's set piece, not his best, as Johnson goes up for the header as well as Becker. Cleared out, Bravo flicking it on, and Avila getting on the end of it. Numbers the other way for Phoenix. Avila leading the charge, trying to get it over to Johnson. It's behind him, which slows up the momentum. And then a good sliding challenge from Portilla to hold things up.
Sean Wright Phillips is livid. He is very upset, and he should be, because if Avila just threads the ball through Sean Wright Phillips, you're looking at a great goal-scoring chance for Phoenix. Instead, he tried to go out wide. The pass is behind Jason Johnson, and then San Francisco, they can regroup, reorganize their defense. It's a tough break, but that's what Phoenix needed. They needed a quick turnover. They had the numbers. It's all about picking out that right pass.
Wright Phillips trying the return for Avila as it goes all the way back towards Peter Ramage's neck of the woods. First real possession that we've seen from Phoenix here in the second half.
And Phoenix is capable of holding the possession, building the ball, playing it from the back, eventually moving the pieces forward, running into space with Watson. We've seen Miguel Tim make some runs as well. But I think Rick Shantz has said we want to be more organized defensively, make sure we don't concede a goal here. And we figure we'll wait for San Francisco to make a mistake and then go on the counterattack.
But you can see that Phoenix is not necessarily letting anything come through the middle of the pitch and just trying to force it out wide where it's not exactly that dangerous. As San Francisco with a bit of a miscue, and it'll be Phoenix Rising ball.
If you can force them out wide, and then the wing backs of Tysa and get caught high, that space right there you can exploit right in behind those wing backs that are getting caught high when the ball is turned over in the midfield. So forcing the play out wide, don't let anything through the middle. That's a smart move by Rick Shantz. But it does require a little bit of pressing in the midfield, especially in your defensive half, to turn the ball over. And when a center back is pushing up like that, you definitely have to press them, because obviously you don't expect center backs to be able to
There's
control
a nasty challenge from Tysa as he clipped Wakasa, who was off to the races. So it looks like Tysa will get a talking to, if not a booking, and we'll take another look.
I think there's a yellow card. It looked like Wakasa was able to avoid the contact, but it was a reckless challenge. Fans are booing because there's no yellow card, but I think that's the right decision by the referee. Definitely a foul, a reckless challenge, but there wasn't any heavy contact there.
Well, the next challenge will certainly be a yellow card from Tysa, if it's a naughty one. But we'll have to wait for that, as Phoenix will have a throw-in and try to get something going here. And again, this is a midweek match, U.S. Open Cup, third round. And with both of these teams having played over the weekend and having games this upcoming weekend, you can understand why the pace is slowed down a bit. And we're getting word now that the attendance for tonight's match is a little bit more than 5,500. as the support in Phoenix just continues to amaze around not only the USL, but across the United States.
And good Phoenix, they're able to one-touch the ball up the park. We saw that just on that last sequence before. Obviously, the technical difficulties, we apologize for that. But they have been able to one-touch that ball up the park with some smart runs. We saw San Francisco, they kind of put some pressing on Phoenix a little bit. And to a chance, we saw Shawn Wright-Phillips lose the ball in the corner there. But Phoenix is capable of holding on to possession and one-touching the ball with their players, with their attacking players up the pitch. So that's something we'll see if they can do that consistently for the rest of this second half, rest of this match.
Oh, you guys missed that? That sucks.
Because San Francisco is not pushing real, they're not pressing very aggressively.
Yeah, that was a really good.
Well, possession has almost shifted about 60-40 in favor of San Francisco as we continue to crawl through the opening moments of the second half.
Megged him and then hit a slide tackle shot in. And
Right, Phillips going out wide for Avila. Ball sent across, but Jason Johnson appears called for the foul before the ball could even reach the area as him and Anacora got tangled up. The boos raining down on Robbie Holner, who was on the scene.
It's not a bad move by Jason Johnson to go at Atacora, run at him. Remember, Atacora has a yellow card, picked it up in this second half, so you can run at him, exploit the fact that he has a yellow card, make him get a second yellow. That could really open things up for Phoenix.
Here's Stevens, the ball in. Heineman was there, but it's just out of his reach. The big man unable to climb the ladder. Here's Johnson laying it off nicely for Wright Phillips, just out of his reach. Portilla going to ground, unable to hang on to it. Avila comes away with it. Tim met in the middle by a nice challenge from Stevens. And San Francisco will put a foot on the ball and again be extremely patient in the way that they build up. Out for the substitute Danny Cruz. And it'll be a corner for San Francisco, who out of the gates in the second half have really dominated here. Their possession hasn't exactly amounted to anything quite tangible just yet, but a team that is known for their defensive prowess as well as their ability to convert off set pieces have held up one end of the bargain so far and have an opportunity to maybe get a breakthrough here. Ball sent in, and it looks like we're going to have a foul coming out the other way.
Yeah, that's an easy call there for the referee. Heineman was pushing his marker in the 6-yard box, almost interfering with the goalkeeper. And anytime the goalkeeper is interfered with, especially in the 6-yard box, that's an easy call for the referee to make.
And it appears that A.J. Gray will be trotting onto the pitch, and trotting off is number 29, Shawn Wright-Phillips, who comes off to a nice round of applause from the supporters here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. So the former English national team members' day is done after just about 70 minutes. And a nice shift from number 29.
Yeah, it was a good shift for Shawn Wright-Phillips. Unfortunately for him, he made some runs. He found himself in space, but that last pass just to connect with him and create goal-scoring opportunities wasn't there. And you could see the last 2-3 minutes, he looked tired. Played the whole 90 minutes against LA Galaxy too, so.
Avila was trying to send it into space for Gray, who just came on, now getting his first touch of the night. Gray matched up with Tysa, looking to take him on 1v1, eludes one challenge, now another. Bravo, back heel for Gray, who sends it across the box, and Johnson was just a beat off. Great opportunity as Omar Bravo is the orchestrator. A.J. Gray almost able to get the ball across.
Tysa was late tracking back. It's a great run by Gray. Great 1-2 between Bravo and Gray. And Jason Johnson, he mistimed his run. Maybe the pass is a little too heavy from Gray on the cross, but still They found a way to get behind that Delta's back line, which was, they were in line, they were in unison, they were organized, but clever touching, well-timed run will always break down a defense.
And that was the first time we've seen Phoenix, probably since the opening 10 minutes, really just take somebody on 1v1. When Jason Johnson at the beginning of the game, as we have a little scuffle in the middle of the pitch here, as Heineman went down in a heap for about the third or fourth time this evening, and Adekora and Matt Watson getting into it now. But going back to my original point, George, is that was the first time we've seen an AJ Gray or anybody from Phoenix take on a defender 1v1 and just be able to break them down and create space by themselves.
And it also helped that Omar Bravo was playing back with his back to goal. You didn't see that too often in that first half. So Omar Bravo with his back toward goal made a great pass, and AJ Gray, those fresh legs just came on. He had those fresh legs to burst through and make the play there, and that's a positive sign for Phoenix. They can use that, and they continue to do that going forward.
See there, just a bit of a heavy challenge for Matt Watson, with Heineman having his back to goal about 65 yards away from goal. And just getting a stern talking to from Robbie Holner. Probably the right decision.
Well, Watson does go through Heineman to get to the ball. He gets all ball, but he also goes through Heineman to get to the ball. So that was the whole discussion there. That's where all the heat came from. Heineman has been roughed up a little in this game. And in a sense, the physicality that J.J. Greer has put on Heineman, and then we see right there with Watson, it's essentially taken him out of the game. And that's made life a lot easier for Phoenix's defense.
Well, he certainly is a big man, and probably the only way to throw him off of his game is with physical play.
Yep.
And Phoenix, like you said, George, has done a good job of throwing him out of his element. And he has looked uncomfortable thus far. Had the game winner against the Burlingame Dragons in their second round win, as well as their leading scorer in NASL play. Nice layoff from Bravo. Going out wide for Johnson, who's been quiet in the second half so far.
And Heineman is the type of player that needs service. He hasn't been getting any service, and that has been another factor as to why he has been has had very little influence in this game.
Partido with a picture-perfect ball over for the substitution, Danny Cruz, just out of the reach of Becker. AJ Gray trying to skip his way out of trouble. Now it's out wide for Areola.
So with Sean Wright Phillips coming off, AJ Gray out to the right, Avila back in the middle now behind Omar Bravo.
Watson.
Keeping it simple. You like that by Rick Shantz. Just keeping it simple. Everybody knows where their roles are.
And the return pass was probably intended for AJ Gray, who took one step looking for the give and go and then ended up holding up his run. And Omar Bravo, being in an offside position, was unable to play the ball. And that's sort of been the story for Phoenix. The build-up in the middle of the field has been good. It's just been that final ball, or the ball leading up to the final ball, that's let them down.
Yeah, and AJ Gray should have continued his run there. I think he saw that Omar Bravo was kind of in his space, and so maybe he decided to lay off and not make the run. But Omar Bravo was smart. He knew he was offside, so he couldn't make a play on the ball. Never hurts to have two. You don't want two people in the same space, but Omar Bravo would be smart enough that if he saw AJ Gray making that run down the right side, he'd cut toward the inside, open up some space, and then they could build the attack going that way. So AJ Gray missing an opportunity to run into space, and then obviously Omar Bravo missing would have subsequently led to a chance, or missed a chance for a goal scoring opportunity.
15 minutes left of regular time here in Phoenix. If we can't sort out a winner, we'll head to extra time. And after those 30 minutes, we'll have to head to penalty kicks if nobody scores a goal. Here's Heineman, more than capable of supplying a dramatic game winner. Becker. Chip through for Heineman. He is onside, looking to cut it back for Cruz. And his shot over the bar. Probably the first real opportunity you've seen from either side in the second half.
Yeah, well done by San Francisco. We saw Heineman play a ball out wide and then time this run. It looks like Ramage looks at the official as if to say he's offsides, but he was not offsides. and then squares it for Cruz, who does a good job of pinching in, coming back from his left wing position, and then pinching in to create an opportunity, make himself available for Heineman. But it's well done by Heineman, and that's Phoenix cannot allow that going forward. The more touches he gets, the more dangerous he is. So they have to even prevent him from touching the ball in order to stay in this match or prevent a first goal.
Bravo does nicely to hold off Tysa, as the Banditos are having a blast over in the far side of the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex.
They'll have more fun if they can score here.
AJ Gray shoved off the ball, and it will be a corner for the home side. And the fans may be starting to sense something here. And a goal now certainly
You guys gonna sit here a little closer, aren't you?
would be a significant one.
This should be an outswinger to the penalty, to about the heart of the penalty area, around the penalty spot.
Bravo on top of the corner. It's a good ball, but Tysa gets there first, all the way out towards AJ Gray.
Yeah, tough break. San Francisco once again just getting bodies behind the ball. Every set piece, every aerial challenge, it seems like San Francisco is able to just outnumber Phoenix, and that has been working for them defensively, and that's helped them to have a clean sheet so far in this match.
Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Still trying to sort out some of the bugs here, as it looks like we are going to have a dangerous set piece chance for Phoenix after a foul called right at the edge of the area. Number of San Francisco players pleading their case. And this is where Bravo really can be dangerous on a hard angle right outside of the area. We already saw him deliver one world-class ball. Does he have another one in store?
Look out here at the top of the penalty area, Avila in the 30.
And these long run-ups can be deceiving for a goalkeeper. Can he put one on frame, or is he going to deliver a service?
Right-footed, he can naturally bend it near post.
Bravo goes for goal. And it soars over everybody here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. And all the way out into the desert, as Bravo will certainly want that one back.
Yep. Well, there was a Gila monster that got a soccer ball as a souvenir, so that's not bad. That's not bad. He wanted to go, he wanted to bend it around the wall and get into that near post, which for a right-footed player is a natural bend, so that made sense. Just couldn't keep the shot now.
So another opportunity for Phoenix goes by the wayside. Nice touch here from Tyler Gibson. Out wide for Cruz. Cruz looking to size up a couple of defenders, but one of them being Cody Wakasa, who's pretty tough to get around as the ball hits his hand, and he's called for the handball. Almost on identical sides of the pitch for Phoenix and now for San Francisco. Pete Ramage, the captain, making an argument to Robbie Holder that his hands were by his side. And he wasn't even looking at the ball. So it's difficult to understand why Holder might call that a handball. George DiMattelis, your thoughts?
I'm surprised it was a handball because it was completely unintentional. That ball, somebody kicked it and it just hit his hand, completely unintentional. It wasn't even an attacking move by San Francisco. Someone just blasted it and it just went off of his hand. It was completely unintentional and incidental, and I'm surprised the referee blew the whistle there. It was clearly a handball, but wasn't a true foul or infraction.
Ferreira, and it looks like Eric Avila getting tangled up, both literally and figuratively. As it looked like Avila got a handful of Ferreira's jersey, and now Robbie Holder is going to have a very stern conversation with these two. And San Francisco have options here. Portilla is a set-piece specialist. He's a lefty. And Becker, more than capable of delivering a solid strike.
Now Portilla, if he takes this with his left foot here, it's similar to what Bravo wanted to do on the other side. He's left-footed, that natural bend around to the near corner.
It's Becker on top of it, takes a deflection, and it's in! Becker gets the goal, and it's a massive one for San Francisco, who are on the doorstep of a date with the San Jose Earthquakes in the 4th round. San Francisco 1, Phoenix 0.
And that is where that handball call comes in and hurts Phoenix here. There's nothing Josh Cohen can do. Deflections are just so unpredictable. I thought Partido with the left foot might bend it around the wall. Instead, Becker tries to bend it over the wall. He does a good job there, but the deflection just kills the chances here. Oh, off the head. It looks like off the captain, Peter Ramage. The wall is well placed. Cohen sees that the ball is going to that near post, so he makes the move over there, but the deflection just wrong foots him. It's unlucky for Phoenix.
Massive goal for the San Francisco Deltas. And in their first season, could be headed to San Jose with an opportunity to play against Chris Wondolowski. And maybe make some noise in honor of the NASL, as Phoenix are going to be scrambling to try to find an equalizer in the remaining 9 minutes plus stoppage time. What a moment for the San Francisco Deltas in their first season, an expansion team in the NASL. Now just minutes away from a 3rd round win and a chance to play against an MLS side. Fans, follow U.S. Soccer's coverage of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup on Twitter @OpenCup. USSoccer.com is your source for full coverage of the 2017 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And you can also follow coverage of the tournament on Twitter @OpenCup. As A.J. Gray taken down. And Wakasa trying to play quickly. The referee going into his pocket. And it looks like Taisa maybe going into the book here. And Taisa will be shown the mustard here, as Holner always was going to his pocket there. And Taisa in the book in the 84th minute.
Phoenix need to respond. I mean, what, about 6 minutes, 45 seconds left here. They need to respond here. They need a quick response. This is not something that they can sit on and wait. They need the quick
Bravo response. Curls it in. Ramage taken down to the box, and it's a penalty for Phoenix. Would you believe it? It was a teasing ball from Bravo. Ramage had a beat on it, was taken down from behind. He might have made more of it than there actually was. But either way, an opportunity to equalize from 12 yards away for Phoenix. What a turn of events.
That is a tough break for San Francisco. Now, we saw the handball that went against Wakasa that led to the free kick that led to the goal. Heineman clears the ball with his head before Atakora trips Ramage. So that's a curious penalty call there by the referee. And I think that's what Heineman is arguing. Heineman is arguing, I cleared the ball with my head before Atakora brought down Ramage in the area. Whatever the case, this is a huge opportunity for an equalizer.
Well, after an extremely dull 25 minutes of the second half, things have really heated up here in the last 10 minutes. What an opportunity for Phoenix here to equalize in the 85th in front of their home crowd. It'll be Omar Bravo on top of it.
So, Taisa's foul.
Bravo to equalize, and he's got it! Omar Bravo ties the game for the penalty spot here in the 85th. 1-1 at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex.
So Taisa's foul, in which he picked up a yellow card, ultimately leads to a goal. So, how quickly the tables turn. Talking about within 4 minutes of each other, we have our first 2 goals of the match. And it's from basically set pieces, dead ball situations, that we get our goals. The run of play not producing much for either squad. But dead balls, those set pieces always seem to be, well, in the case of Phoenix, the equalizer, always seem the kind of plays that can open up a game.
San Francisco trying to catch Josh Cohen off of his line, but number 18 up to the task as we are all knotted at 1 in the third round of the U.S. Open Cup. Both teams want to dance with San Jose in a couple of weeks.
And this is important for Phoenix here. Obviously have to win the ball back, but it's important for Phoenix. Avila has to get more touches here. He has to be someone that's more influential. He can set up Gray. He can set up Johnson out wide.
And it looks like Mark Dos Santos is going to make a change here. And it is going to be Luban coming on, replacing Michael Stevens, who had that great opportunity right out of the gate of the first half. It's Andrew Luban coming on in the 87th. So both teams starting to make their changes here as we seem destined for extra time, as Arreola called for a foul on the far side.
And for the Deltas, look, they've had a lot of possession. They've been able to keep the ball in their attacking half for a good chunk of this second half. Hasn't led to any shots, hasn't really led to anything dangerous that could threaten Josh Cohen. They needed to get the goal because of a handball, which I feel they shouldn't have been called. So we'll see how Phoenix responds defensively here.
Adekora up for the header, but the offside flag was up.
Offsides.
Phoenix should be feeling very good, very confident defensively.
Sent ahead for Bravo, and again the offside flag is up, and Sayus absolutely drills the 37-year-old. After the whistle had already gone. And good gamesmanship from San Francisco here, making sure that number 9 is okay. And certainly inadvertent by Sayus, who was trying to get out of the way, but with both players' momentum carrying them into each other, it was always going to be a recipe for disaster.
Bravo. Yeah. Check out his concussion protocol here, but he's okay. He didn't get hit in the head. It's good to see Omar Bravo up and moving. I always want to take those precautions in situations like that when you have a big-time collision like that.
So we'll certainly have a number of minutes added on after we reach 90 here with the number of stoppages that we've had, including goals, fouls, and injuries alike. And again, we apologize for these technical difficulties. We understand it's frustrating. Still trying to work everything out. Probably couldn't have come at a worse time here.
Well, Phoenix still have a couple of substitutions that they can use in this match. Meanwhile, the Deltas, they've used 2 already. Use them for attacking players as well, so you wonder.
And we're getting word now that we're going to have 6 minutes of added time.
Wonder what that third substitution when the next
Taisa with a neat touch, as Becker was trying to return it the other way. Taisa trying to leave it, and AJ Gray tangled up. Taisa already on a yellow card. Needs to be careful here. Robbie Holdner not going to his back pocket just yet, but the Dutchman on very thin ice here.
And remember, Adekora is the one who fouled Ramage in the area. He's on the yellow as well. So it is smart for Phoenix to go after those players, try to get a second yellow, and then obviously have them sent off.
Long ball sent ahead. Avila giving chase. Hayner doing a good job. Probably not going to go out of bounds, but Avila commits the foul and probably bails out Hayner, who had his back to goal and had all sorts of issues trying to deal with Avila and to be able to keep possession of the ball. But bailed out by number 30.
And we haven't seen the number 30 for Phoenix have too much influence in this second half. Was out wide when Sean Wright-Phillips was in the game, but then went back in the middle when Sean Wright-Phillips went to the bench, was substituted off. They need to get him more involved in the attack. If Avila gets more work in the attack, the more dangerous Phoenix will be. But it just, you got to give San Francisco credit. They have had much of the possession, so obviously Avila can't get much of the ball.
Trouble here for Phoenix. And we are going to have a foul on Heineman, who has his palms up in the air, befuddled by the call from Robbie Holner, who's had to make a couple of very big decisions in the past 10 minutes or so, would not want to be in his shoes.
Heineman had that one good opportunity about 15 minutes earlier where he was able to get behind the defense and then square it for Cruz. But other than that, Phoenix has done an excellent job of accounting for where he is on the pitch at all times. You have to give him a little push, get a little physical with him. That has worked as well. And the most dangerous attacking player for Deltas has been neutralized in this game by Phoenix's defense.
Again, 6 minutes of stoppage time added on here if you're just joining us. Becker got the breakthrough right around the 80th minute for San Francisco, and then minutes later it was Pete Ramage taken down in the box on a controversial call off of a set piece, and then Omar Bravo stepped up and equalized for Phoenix in the 85th, and that is where we stand at the moment. And if we can't find a goal in the next 3 minutes or so, we'll head to extra time, where rules are a bit different than the rest of the world as far as elimination games are concerned. If there is a score in the first half of extra time, there will not be a second half. But obviously, if it's tied at the end of the first half of stoppage, then we'll head to a second.
So kind of like, I guess you could call it a silver goal instead of golden goal, kind of a silver goal.
That is
more or
great
less
on your part.
Silver goal.
You should trademark that or something.
I forgot what competition instituted that rule a few years ago, and then they got rid of it because I don't know the purists sometimes.
The purists.
Sometimes.
Again, technical difficulties here.
But this second half has certainly been a surprise in the fact that the Deltas have had a lot of the possession. Phoenix sitting back. You wonder how the adjustments in the second half at halftime. Rick Shantz, we saw what he was talking about in terms of defensive pressure, and that's what happened.
And it looks like San Francisco have scored a late game winner here. Right at the last at stoppage time.
Heineman, oh wow.
And it looks like Heineman's claiming it.
Heineman has been shut out for the most part this entire match. One or two opportunities where he's seen the ball at his feet. That's a tough break for Phoenix.
And now it's Mike Seth trotting on, and Phoenix are going to send everybody. Do they have one more equalizer left in them? They have just about a minute of play as A.J. Gray shoved off the ball. The referee does not blow the whistle. Heineman taken down, and Wakasa called for the foul as San Francisco are just seconds away from a fourth-round appearance in their first year of existence.
Unbelievable turn of events for Phoenix. Just when we thought that, we were talking about Heineman being neutralized. He had that one little burst of magic, and he was able to give them the lead.
So Heineman right now with the game winner in the match against Burlingame Dragons a couple weeks ago in the second round. And as it stands, has the game winner in the third round unless Phoenix can pull out some serious magic here. Wakasa.
Got to get Avila the ball.
Can't be bashful here if you're Phoenix. Ramage chipping it forward, finding Seth. Seth with the header, but couldn't get the power behind it. Great opportunity right at the last for Phoenix. And Seus is able to cover.
Mike Seth with a great run straight up the middle of the San Francisco defense.
And there's the final whistle. San Francisco moving on to the fourth round. Absolutely stunning Phoenix here on their home field. A massive win for their Deltas in the first year of existence. And now have a date with Chris Wondolowski and the San Jose Earthquakes in the fourth round. What a win for Mark Dos Santos.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Phoenix. It appeared in the second half they had figured out defensively how to remain organized, but Heineman, one of the best goal scorers in the NSL, getting it done, and San Francisco moves on.
So Heineman getting the game winner yet again.